switching to college football now for Alex. I'll try to get FanDuel loaded here. Just give me a second. I'll tee it up. So what we're doing for this, calling your shot, one side of the coin, finding someone that's plus 200 or longer odds to make the college football playoffs, expanded to 12 teams. And the other side, finding someone that's most likely to miss the playoffs that has minus odds. So that's favored to make the playoffs. Okay, FanDuel.
Michigan
Wolverines. I think they're plus money right now.
Jack Tuttle, baby. Is that really gaining steam?
No, my Alex Orgy will be the starter.
Oh, wow. That was confident. You back on the blogs?
I read some articles recently.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I read Sports Illustrated articles that like people go to practice, or they also subscribe to the blogs and they just say what people at practice say about the team.
Just reading about the blogs through the other blog boys.
Yeah, I'm not paying for anything. It's just follow beat reporters, see what they say about the team. Just like the Lions, it's just hard to get info because college football is like North Korea. You can't really get anything from them. That's the hard part about college football, is it's hard to find things out. We had to wait, last year was the first year of injury reports, or the year before that?
Last year. And the Big Ten was their first year.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Are we doing the minus guys first or the plus guys first?
Oh, that sounded like a bird chirping. That was cool, Evan. Let's do the minus because I think it's obvious.
So easy.
I don't know if you guys... Yeah.
It's so easy.
So there's only 1, 2. So for people that are listening, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams to pick from. That goes from Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, Penn State are all minus odds to make. Oh, and Ole Miss. I'm sorry. All minus odds to make the college football playoff this year. And we have to pick which one we think is most likely to miss the college football playoff. Evan?
Penn State. It's obvious. James Franklin's the head coach of a Penn State University team. He's not making anything worthy.
You guys are going to like this.
He gets to escape Ohio State. Doesn't have to play him in the regular season. Oh, he gets to escape Michigan. Sorry, take that back. He gets Ohio State at home. But it's still like... I get that there's 12 teams. And there's technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, so there's 6 spots available at large bids.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm counting the 5 conference winners, and then Notre Dame's automatically can get in because it's their brand. No matter how many losses they have.
That's just not true.
And then like a mid-major, so there's technically five spots to get open. I just don't see Penn State being one of those 5 best teams. Because I know for a fact Oregon and Ohio State will be in the college football playoff. That's just guaranteed.
Alex,
I don't agree.
I don't.
For reasons that make sense, I think.
I'm having an internal battle because Penn State was my answer coming into this, but I remember an article I read on The Athletic where they took like the last, like during the 4-team playoff era, they basically looked at the final standings and like how the conference things work and said who would have made the playoff if it was 12-team. And I'm pretty sure Penn State made it every year if it was a 12-team playoff.
They're always like...
So they do have that going
12.
for them. And I'm looking at their schedule again, and I really only see one like loss I feel confident about. And you could make the case they lose at USC. But outside of that, I don't see how they're losing the 3rd game. And if they only have 2 losses in the Big Ten this year, they're probably making the playoffs.
Lost to Illinois in 9 overtimes.
That's true. We were in a pumpkin patch. Never forget.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. Do they have talent on their team? Yes. Do they have a returning quarterback? All of that stuff. Good run game. No doubt. But
new offensive coordinator from Kansas. Helpful.
But
they did lose their DC.
I just don't see how that is a matchup well, though. Like, Kansas had like a mobile quarterbacks, and then you're bringing in Drew Aller, who's 6'6", and just
power run.
Typical.
Power be your guy. Runner, He'd be your favorite quarterback if he ran.
He probably could be.
Huge. Did you love Tim Tebow?
Drew Aller has a good arm.
That sounds like no.
I didn't.
Too young? You didn't
not that I was
have your
too
love
young.
of QB power yet.
Not too young, too. We were definitely watching.
I love Tim Tebow now because I love watching DeFleur's offense back then. But at the time, I didn't like Tim Tebow because of the publicity that he got. He's too popular.
That's true. You have a threshold, like a crazy hot scale, where you love QB power, but if Will Howard starts showing up on the covers of magazines, you're going to turn on him so fast.
If he wins the Heisman, I'd be like, yeah.
Because I was watching Swamp Kings finally. I watched that, and I was like, God, Tebow is the man. I remember being like, this is the coolest football player ever.
Yeah, what was your pick?
Well, I guess I 180'd myself, and I'm going to go Notre Dame. Because we know they're losing week 1 to Texas A&M. So there's a loss. And I'm just thinking if they have 2 losses without a conference title, they might get left out. But Evan says the brand is too strong.
Scroll down a little bit. And just ask yourself, does Alabama have a better quarterback than Penn State?
Yeah, but that's not what this is about.
Alabama does, yeah.
If you have a better quarterback than other teams, you're more likely to have more wins.
But it's the schedule.
All right, is everyone ready to hear me out?
It's college football. Penn State can lose to anybody.
Evan's going to get pissed, so let me just get this out. Okay?
Texas.
I'm picking Texas. Just hear me out.
All right.
Hear me out. They could lose at Michigan. Everyone agree? They could lose that game.
Alex. Jack Tuttle's the starting quarterback.
They could lose at Michigan.
They could.
Well, Alex, I'll give you one step if you want more fuel to the fire.
No, just let me finish.
Well, you probably don't have this breaking news.
Okay.
Did you watch college football? Did you watch college football? I did not watch college football
live today. No.
Texas has 3 healthy running backs because they had 2 running backs go down this week with like almost season-ending injury. Just FYI.
Okay.
The one kid though that they have left, the Jaden Blue kid, he's really good. So they at least have that going for him.
But the other 2,
they could lose to Michigan. Everyone agrees. Besides that,
they could lose.
No.
They could.
They could lose again to Oklahoma.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They've been proven to lose that game.
Year.
They can lose to Georgia.
Yes.
They will lose to Georgia.
That's
was
3
it at
losses.
Georgia or is it at Texas?
It's home, but they could lose that game.
What a
they're
game.
Not losing to Michigan.
They could.
And this one's
Texas
controversial.
Yes.
At Texas A&M is a humongous rivalry. They
oh my
could
God.
lose the final.
That's going to be the game of the year. That could be 4.
They could lose 4 games.
They're not losing to Texas A&M.
I don't think they lose 4 games, but if you told me they lose 3 of those 4 games, I wouldn't be stunned. And I think Penn State's going 11-1.
If they lose those 3 games, they're still making the playoff.
But 11-1 Penn State is making the playoff.
I gotta find my Penn State schedule.
There's not. There's 2 max.
Michigan State.
No.
West Virginia, the first week at West Virginia. What are you talking about?
They smoked West Virginia
Morgantown.
last year.
That would be a great atmosphere. But I think
it would be a great
wins.
atmosphere.
That's a game they win by 10.
Alex.
They win by 10 late. They score a touchdown
West
late.
West Virginia's
by
not
10.
even good.
They could slip up to Wisconsin.
Sure. They could. But would you bet on it? No.
Sure. But
Ohio State's a for sure loss.
Well, it's home, though. Is it a whiteout? If it's a night game whiteout, throw the rest of the out.
Noon kickoff, isn't it?
Well, not in Stone yet because they have to do the lottery for those games. But
just saying, Texas' schedule is a lot harder.
Significantly that's the same week as Oregon, Ohio State, so probably not.
And Ole Miss, LSU then.
And
Penn State, USC.
Texas lost a lot of their defense. We already went over that last week. I don't know. That Big House game could be a huge determiner.
It's going to be the biggest game.
Determinant of Texas this season.
It's the biggest non-conference game this year, by far.
Yeah, Texas has to win that game. Michigan doesn't, technically. I think Michigan has a better path to get in with losing than Texas losing because...
Well, they both have huge games left. They both have huge games left.
Yeah, both of those teams I would be worried about just because their schedules.
We're just in uncharted territory because we have no idea if the committee's going to look at a 9-3 team that got lost to
over 11
teams,
Penn State,
and they're going to go, yeah, let's reward them. We have no idea. And Ward Manuel is not the director of this, so we have no idea what the morals of.
People are still going to bitch and say there's SEC bias because there should be. It's just plain and simple.
100%. There should be more SEC and Big Ten teams in the playoff every year than ever before.
There will be. There's going to be 3 Big Ten teams. 4.
It's actually ironic. I was listening to Josh Pate earlier today, and he's made this point a lot because he liked the 4-team playoff, I think. I don't know if it was exactly 4 teams, but he liked smaller. He made a good point. He's like, everyone thinks the 12-team playoff opens up more opportunity, which it does to make the playoff. But we're probably going to have even more like consistent champions because there's no way like a TCU, for example, would win like 2
Goes through
to
a
3
gauntlet of
games.
team,
Yes, they could beat Michigan because JJ threw 2 picks and they have a chance to win a title.
They
but
lost
like,
their conference championship the last game that they played. They just got a month to prepare for Michigan.
Yeah. Whereas this, it's like the Georgias, the Bamas, like the cream of Ohio State is going to rise to the top and probably win 3 games. So
and that's what it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was looking today and saw that there's 11 playoff games that we get to watch, it's hard not to be a little excited.
It'll be an exciting product.
It'd be awesome.
It's going to be an exciting product.
Games.
Home
11
playoff
football
games on
games
campus? Are you kidding me?
But in year 4, though, when we're like, wow, these like all SEC finals are getting a little old, which we've already been used to that. People are like, oh, it's not that different than the 14 playoff. Because I think
the rematches are just over and over rematches.
The onsite
Georgia
playoff
and
matches are gonna
Alabama.
be sick, dude. What do you mean?
Georgia and Alabama for the 8th year in a row.
All right, give me the plus 2 hundos.
Well, the one thing I want to say, now that we were schedule peaking, you could make the case, if you're on Team Elko, like Alex and I, that if Notre Dame loses week 1 to them, they could lose to home versus Florida State night game. They realistically, I think they would win that at home, but you never know.
I think they win
Florida
one
State.
of those two, probably.
And then they finish the year at USC, and if USC is starting to figure things out and they're playing better at the end of the year, USC could win that. So they could have 3 losses, and a 3-loss Notre Dame I don't think would be in based on their conference and their schedule.
No.
In fairness, Notre Dame's like offensive line is like super young. They have like a combined like 30 starts under their belt. Like combined of all the 5 starters.
Oh.
Do we think it's safe to say that a 3-loss team is probably not getting in? There will be enough 2-loss, 1-loss undefeated teams.
No, I don't feel safe saying that.
I'm not gonna die.
9-3. Imagine going 9-3 8 years ago and you get to play in the playoff.
If that 3rd loss is a conference title game, that's going to when people get pissed off because it should not count against you to go play and lose. And a 2-loss team gets to sit at home.
That's not 9-3. That would be 10-3. That means they went 10-2 in the regular season.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah, but 3-loss, I guess. Yes,
I'm thinking 9-3. You're not playing in the conference championship game, and you're going to the playoff. Like Brian Lewerke led Michigan State to a 9-3 season, 2nd in the Big Ten in the East. And you telling me they could have made the playoff?
I would be starting a petition and rallies for Michigan State to be in that playoff game.
It's going to give so many people
50-0.
Hope. It's going to give so many people hope.
So when Michigan State and Aiden Childs go 9-3 this year,
yeah, but Alex, we beat Saquon Barkley. We beat James Franklin that year. We deserved it.
Yeah, well,
we beat Michigan that year. We deserved it. Lost to Notre Dame. Lost to Northwestern.
All right, let's move to the plus odds. So there's a couple teams in purgatory here that we're not talking about. That would be Bama, LSU, Michigan, Florida State, Missouri, Tennessee. So our criteria starts plus 200 or higher. It starts with Clemson as the main team here. You got Miami, Florida, Utah, A&M, Kansas State, Boise State. Holy shit. Liberty.
Well, because one non-power 5 team has to make it.
Non-power 5. That makes sense. Because they're the team. Them and Liberty are like, what the hell are we
ranked
doing? NC State. Holy
non-power
cow.
4.
What about NC State? That's
like,
nuts.
The ACC is wide open besides but Miami has a really good track record, I guess. I don't trust Mario Cristobal, but I mean, I have 3 teams that I wrote down.
I think I did 3 too, Evan. I like that.
I did 3. My first one, and I think most common one that should be, is Oklahoma State.
Oh.
You pick Oklahoma State or Kansas State because they're the 2 top favorites, and some team out of the Big 12 is going to make the playoff.
But you're a Utah guy.
I am a Utah guy. I have them in the top 10, but like if we're talking odds, odds and value here, I think like those 2 teams are potential.
Where is Oklahoma State? Oh,
they're
plus 700. That's spicy value.
Like Oklahoma State's ranked, and they play in the weaker Big 12. Top 2 teams are out. Oklahoma State's played in multiple. Oklahoma State's played in multiple Big 12s over the last couple of years, with Texas and Oklahoma in the conference still. So Mike Gundy's still a very good coach. They have one of the best running backs.
Drink and drive like 1,000 times in his life.
Yes. A couple of beers doesn't hurt if you're driving. So that's like my best like value, and like because like I said, somebody has to win that conference.
Good point.
All right. Alex, you want to take what was your first team or team
last
that you wrote
week
down?
I ranked Oklahoma in my top 10.
I see him right there.
So they have to be one of my picks for sure.
I'm more in on teams. Them. I like Oklahoma a lot. You know, actually, if you're a betting man, their win total is only 7.5.
I think
so. If you believe in Jackson Arnold, then you should.
I do.
People should be on that. Tough schedule though.
Also, if A&M beats Notre Dame, I like their chances as well. And then my sleeper team is the Jeff Brom Louisville team. Who, people forget late in the season last year they had a chance. They were still in contention to make the playoff, a 4-team. So their schedule is not too bad. They play at Clemson.
Who did they beat late to they ruined somebody's season?
They beat Notre Dame, didn't they?
They beat Notre Dame. No, don't log me out.
They lost to Florida State in that terrible. They lost to Kentucky.
Oh, that was the game. Kentucky ruined their season. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They did. Kentucky ruined Louisville's season. Good rivalry.
Well, Louisville upset somebody on a Friday night, though.
I'm trying to look. They beat Notre Dame. They beat Notre Dame by 13.
Yep. That's who it was.
All right, my team is going to be the chalk one. My first one was Miami, Florida, just because I'm on them. I'm putting my flag in their sand this year, and it might blow up in my face, but I'll take them. And then a couple other ones that are interesting. When you look at this, if you're just betting money, I don't know if you guys have seen Liberty's schedule, but they are probably a relatively safe bet based on who they play. They play the Campbell Camels to start the season, which I don't even know if is an FBS team.
FCS.
Yeah.
New Mexico State, UTEP.
New Mexico State was good last year.
New Mexico State, the Aggies.
Do you remember who they beat?
I don't remember.
Beat
New Mexico State?
They beat Peyton Thorne, dude. What do you mean?
Oh,
UTEP's got Dave Warner as their offensive coordinator.
I think New Mexico State won 10 games last year.
Okay, so there. They got East Carolina, who's been down. Their biggest game is at App State, so they have Appalachian State.
No, New Mexico State is good.
They get FIU, Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State. We're talking FCS teams. Middle Tennessee, UMass, Western Kentucky, and Sam Houston State. So
they have
their quarterback from last year, who was wanted in the transfer portal. So I think. If you're talking about the team that's going to make it.
I bet they lose to New Mexico State.
It's the college football playoff, though, is still going to just rank other teams with tougher schedules higher than them. They might be undefeated, but they're just going to get shafted.
There'll be another G5 team that they'll rank higher?
I think so.
It'd have to be Boise State. I
don't
know who else is doing
five,
this.
Even though it's the Power 4?
I think so.
Power 4. There's not 5.
Well, no, Pac-12 does not count in the Liberty tier. They're the Pac-12. They're just they don't get anything.
So it's the Power 4 in the group of 6. Pac-12 has 2 teams.
Right.
Yeah, but there's 5 teams there's one conference champion that's going to get left out and be the 5 seed.
Notre Dame.
But wait, the American Conference is the American Conference in the G5?
Yes.
Are they that tier?
Look up Kirk Herbstreit.
Power 4 is the Big 10, SEC, ACC, Big 12.
Look up the college football rules right now, Alex. Go now.
And then that's the 4. The 4 buys.
If Memphis has a good year, are they the team that takes the Liberty spot, or is Memphis a different thing?
No, that they're all. Everyone that's not in the Power 4 is in the group of whatever. I don't know what the number is anymore.
I got you because there's 4 buys.
Not in the Power 4
Big
conferences.
12, ACC, SEC, Big 10.
The best you can be is the 5th seed.
All right, that makes sense. But I think if Liberty goes undefeated, they're going to be in. Even if Memphis or someone else has 2 losses, you're just going to put Liberty in.
They'd be the highest ranked. It's the highest ranked non-Power 4, non-Notre Dame team. That is in there. That Notre Dame caveat is in there.
Yeah, but Notre Dame can't be the 5th seed. They have to be 6 at best. Is that right?
5th. They can be 5th.
They could be 5th.
I thought I saw today that they can't be.
New Mexico State beat Auburn last year 31-10. Crazy.
And then Auburn almost beat Alabama. Should have beat Alabama.
Would have been the best
Great
day of life.
Look up like Kirk Herbstreit, like explaining the bracket.
Notre Dame can definitely be 5.
Can't be seated higher than 5th, but they can be 5th.
They probably will be 5th most years if they are good.
If they're good, they'll be 5th. And then the next team will be... I don't think the group of whatever team, it gets a good ranking. They'll probably just be 12.
Yeah, probably. They'll just
get
get thrown to the Wolves.
Have any control.
Go play the 5 seed.
Unless it's like Oregon State, if like they beat Oregon or something. But I don't see that happening.
The other team, to Evan's point about the Big 12, one sleeper, because I think they have a really good quarterback, Iowa State. If you're just talking about long shot plus 850 with the Rocco dude they have at quarterback, I don't know. You might want to take a chance on Iowa State for a couple bucks.
Kansas State's always pretty good. Why don't we talk about them?
Evan muted, but Evan did mention him. But they're plus 280. They're not as much of a long shot. They're like right there.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Oklahoma State.
Good video that I watched today says the 5 highest ranked conference champions.
Does that include Notre Dame or no?
Notre Dame's not in a conference.
I know, but I'm pretty sure Notre Dame can be 5. I just read it. That's NCAA
5
25
conference champions. Well, they showed this on ESPN today.
This says I'm reading ESPN article. The 5th conference champion will be seated where it was ranked, or at number 12 if it is outside the top 12 rankings.
So they don't get to be ranked 5.
No, the 4 highest ranked conference champions will be 1 through 4.
Oklahoma would have been in the playoff last year.
The 5th conference champion will be seated where it was ranked.
Oh, no, they wouldn't have.
There you go, Grant. They just explained it to you.
So you are right. They
all conference champions are making the playoff.
Yes, but
the 4,
the fifth one doesn't get a bye, and they can be ranked wherever.
Correct. And
what is the 5th conference?
5 highest ranked conference champions
okay.
of all the other conferences.
Sense. So the 4. They all make it, and then the 5th is like a Liberty or
so the other whatever the other 6 conferences, whoever the highest ranked,
the MAC, potential
conference champions.
Probably be like an AAC team, maybe. I don't know.
American Boise State.
You know who could be good?
In?
You know who could be good as well in this Big 12? Big 12 might be the most interesting conference. The UCF could be nice. They got that kid from Arkansas, KJ Jefferson.
Yeah.
I feel like UCF could be sneaky good.
Quarterback power, Grant. They're talking about
Gus Malzahn, don't they?
Yeah, I kind of like UCF at plus 700 to just flirt around in the Big 12.
Michigan State should switch to the Big 12 this year and see what happens.
Though.
They definitely play some Florida teams. They always do. But
I'm grateful for the SEC, Big 10, massive TV money, but like being in the Big 12 for football for a season wouldn't be terrible. You'd have a much better shot.
They got a pretty nice schedule, Evan. They got the biggest game. They have New Hampshire, Sam Houston State, at TCU, home Colorado, at Florida, home Cincinnati, at Iowa State, home BYU, home Arizona, at Arizona State, at Arizona. West Virginia. Then they get home Utah
Arizona's
to end the year.
Big 12.
Arizona's good.
Yeah, they had their biggest game of the year, home versus Utah, as the last game of the year at 8 p.m. on a Friday night. So that's big for UCF.
Forgot Jed Fish left Arizona for Washington.
And the only Florida team they play is Florida, which is the team you'd want to play of the other Florida teams this year. So that's pretty nice for them.
I think Florida, middle-ish.
Florida plays every Florida team, basically.
Florida plays everybody.
UCF.
Yeah. Florida's on everyone's schedule.
The Swamp Kings were awesome. Yeah. No, Florida's got a nice little stretch.
FAU, after they beat Michigan State in week 1, they're going to be flying high as a team that could make it.
Fighting Tom Herman, you never know.
Yeah, I looked at that today. I was starting to get ready for week 1. I was like, Tom Herman's the coach there. No shit.
Who's there?
Doesn't make me feel
good. They were 4-8 last year. Looking for a bounce back here.
Probably lose to them.